have to be
You try,
selective with your words.
yeah.
You have to be gentle with your parents, and just you can disagree with your parents, but not disrespect them.
Mhm.
It's okay to disagree, but not disrespect. Which is it's an art. It's something that we learn
You
as
have
we
to,
get older.
yeah, answer gently.
Because
And
oftentimes we would just get angry, and out of emotion we carelessly say words that we often regret. But over time, we learn. Respect is very important to our family. Growing up, we learn respect from our parents. They demonstrate to us how to speak to them, and also to speak to our grandparents and uncles and aunts.
For example, it's not just in the family, it's even your neighbors. Let's say that you have, see, in the Philippines, neighbors know each other, right? So my mom could go to the market, and if she didn't want to take us to the market with her, she could just knock, on the neighbors next door and say, "Could you please watch my kids?" And at that time, it's like, when you know that your neighbors are looking over you, you have to treat them as if they were your parents. So you kind of like give them that respect of, if they tell you something, don't do something, then you kind of like have to, or if you don't do something, then you're in trouble because they'll tell your parents.
Right.
So it's always, it's kind of like them watching over you.
well, and then there's a gesture that we use. I don't know if most people do this, especially in the Philippines. So, for example, this is
Say I'm a grandfather,
grandfather, and I'm
and
the
she is a granddaughter.
granddaughter. And so, whenever we go from a different place, and then when we see them from at home, and then we welcome them by saying, no, "Mano po," like that, and we put our foreheads in. Their hand in our foreheads like that.
So it's
So-
it's a common practice in the
Mhm.
Philippines, because they they honor the older
elderly.
generation by physical gestures and also vocal.
Vocal.
When we were growing up, mom would always remind us that if if you want to be a successful communicator, it's very important to seek first to understand before you become understood. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. So, what does that mean? Well, you try to listen to the other person first. You can spend 80% of your time listening and trying to get as much as you can in terms of the emotion, the experience that that person is going through, and try to put yourself in their position.
When you go to school, your teacher becomes your parent. So back in the early days, I don't know how it is now. At least when I was in kindergarten or first grade or third grade over there, if we made a mistake, the teachers are allowed to spank you.
Really?
They have that right, because what the values that are being taught at home is supposed to be the same values being taught at school. So there's always that respect aspect, that your teachers become your parents while you're at school, and if they tell you to do something, you have to obey that and do what they tell you to do.
Right.
You don't talk back to them.
There are also terms that we use if there's older brother, older sister. For example, I am the oldest in the three of us, and my brother Joseph and my sister Marigold called me Ate. And then
Ate and your name.
Ate Mags or Ate Magnolia. So that means I'm the oldest. And Joseph is called by Marigold Kuya. That's older brother. Ate is older sister. So that makes a huge difference also, because I'm the oldest. And here in the US, I don't think I've heard like any terms that you use. The Filipino culture, if you're the oldest, then you have to you have the responsibility to take care of your siblings and look after them. I think some older traditions mean that sometimes you have to sacrifice your life so that everyone can, or your siblings can have like their education. You have to help them in their terms of education and helping to support them. It's just a cultural difference. It's a cultural thing. Had been tradition that had been passed on, but doesn't mean that it's a right or wrong one.
My mom had always said, you have to take the best of both cultures, take what's best out of your culture, take what's best out of the American culture, and throw the bad away.